Most people think solar is a no-brainer. It's green. It should increase your home value. It saves money. Sounds great until you actually try to sell your house. Today, I'm going to break down solar panels and real estate specifically here in Colorado Springs and why it's a bad idea. Don't do it. And there is no guesswork. I'm not guessing. This is not speculation. This is coming from a guy who's done probably close to 75 transactions with solar panels on them. And I'm going through it right now on a few of them. It is bad, guys, and let's get into it. Section number 1, power is already cheap here in Colorado. I have already talked about this in multiple videos. We have the luxury of having Colorado Springs Utilities, which I believe they charge 11 cents per kilowatt hour, which is really cheap. They're a nonprofit. All water, gas, electric is rolled into one bill. It's extremely clean and affordable, very easy. Number 2, Mountain View Electric is the second provider that we see here. They charge 12 cents per kilowatt hour, but they also offer time of day, which means if you fill out a packet and you sign up for this, you can have 8 cents per kilowatt hour, 20 hours out of the day. Between the hours of 5 p.m. and 9 p.m., it jumps up to 32 cents per kilowatt hour. So either way, you can war game it, or you can just go with the standard rate that everybody else does, and it is really cheap. Power in Colorado Springs specifically, as well as across the board in Colorado, extremely, extremely affordable. You're really low comparatively to the rest of the country. Now, right now, outside, it's about 72 degrees, and we're in late March right now. It's going to snow next weekend. It's going to be, a high of 35 here. So we fluctuate. So of course, your bills will fluctuate with the weather. Now, with that being said, we live in a moderate to mild climate. It's a high desert. So you're going to have warmer days and colder evenings, even in the summer. We just had a day 2 days ago where it was 21 degrees at 5 a.m. in the morning, and then it was almost 80 degrees in the afternoon. That is almost a 60-degree temperature swing. It was pretty wild. Most homeowners are sitting at about $100 to $150 per month for their electric bills. It is rare that I've seen them go higher. Now, if it's several days in a row where it's over 95 degrees and you need your air conditioning on and it's running 24/7, yes, you're probably going to hit a couple $100. But I will tell you, in my 8 years of living here in this beautiful town of Colorado Springs, I have never gone over $280 for a power bill, and we have 2 air conditioning units. Now, what I really like to talk about this part, we're still in section 1, but let's talk the math. Let's say $150 on average, or even $100 on average for your power bill. You're looking at about $1,200 per year. Your average solar panel installation is between $30,000 to $40,000. That is going to take you 20 to 30 years, depending on what your power bills would be, depending on how much solar you put on, 20 to 30 years just to break even, guys. And that's not including the fact that you're going to have a connection fee. So it's probably going to be closer to the 30-year mark. Now, when I say connection fee, that is a small fee that you pay just to connect to the grid for the power company. So even if your solar panels are producing 100% of your power, you still have to pay that $17 to $21 connection fee. So odds are you're going to be on the higher end of 30 years just to break even. And we know how quick technology moves. Are those solar panels still going to even be relevant 30 years from now? Probably not. And I will tell you the average years that people live in homes here in Colorado Springs, 3 to 5 years. You will never see the return on that investment. There's only 2 times when I say that you should get solar panels on your house in Colorado Springs. Number 1, if you want to be so green, you don't care about the cost, you're willing to lose 30 grand to be green and sleep better at night. That's not a dig. Solar panels are a great technology. That is one reason. Number 2, you want to be totally off grid and you're going to own the home for, let's say, 50 years. You don't ever plan on moving. Then I would say, okay, probably fine to get solar panels. Section number 2, the ROI just simply doesn't pencil when it comes to real estate. One of the main reasons being solar panels, let's say you spend $40,000 on them and your payment is $300 a month. who is going to take over those solar panel payments, which I'm going to get into the transferability or lack thereof later in this video. But I will tell you that nobody's going to want to do that because your power bills would only be $150 on average. Why would you pay a $300 solar panel payment? It doesn't make sense at all. Now, in Colorado, I had mentioned we have lower bills. Now let's talk about California. Let's talk about Texas, where you have rolling blackouts. You have extremely warm temperatures, and your power bills are closer to $400 to $600, some of them. I mean, if you've got a pool that you're trying to heat, I mean, that's natural gas most likely, but let's say that you have multiple electrical vehicles and your bills are close to $1,000 a month. Let's change our tune. Then solar panels might be worth it. It might change everything. You might break even after 5 years. So I am being very specific when it comes to Colorado. We have the cheapest utilities in the country. The ROI is not there. One of the other things that I want to hit is some people will say, well, I've got $40,000 worth of solar panels on my roof and I only owe 25 left. That's, $15,000 worth of equity. Wrong. Does not work. Hard stop. No go. Because an appraiser will not give you value. And this is a fact. An appraiser will give you $0 of value when it comes to your solar panels unless they're already 100% paid off. That is a fact. So you need to pay those bad boys off before an appraiser can ever give them value. Now, when it comes to this section, this is all hoping. It is not investing. So stay away from solar, if not for the first reason, the second reason. Now let's get into the third section of this video. Solar creates problems. Solar creates a lien on your property. And here's where things get real because I deal with this all the time. Most solar systems are financed. And what this means is that there is a lien on your property and you have 3 degrees of separation. When I say that, you have these solar people that knock on your door, and these guys are the best. I should freaking hire some of these guys. They are really good at what they do. They pretty much make it sound like it's free. Well, anyways, you get the solar contract signed. They're all happy. You're happy. $35,000 later. Guess who's financing that if you're not paying cash? Some other third-party company. And I will tell you that these solar panel salesmen will say, hey, this is transferable. You can easily transfer this to somebody else. I will tell you, I have done VA loan assumptions quicker than, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars transferring a loan from one person to another. And I've done it faster than solar panel payment or solar panel loans that are, 20, 30 grand. They take all of a month at a minimum. I've had great experiences and I've had more worse experiences, if that makes sense. So now let's go back to the lien. Now you have added another decision maker when you're trying to sell your house. And trust me, solar companies don't move fast, like I just said. Now, I can't say their name, and I am not against solar, but there's a company out there that financed a lot of these solar panels and they just went bankrupt and out of business. I am dealing with a transaction right now where they're like, yeah, it's transferable. Well, then they got bought out by another company because they went bankrupt. Guess what isn't transferable now? The freaking solar panels. So now we have $36,000 worth of solar panels that we need to figure out what the heck to do with. And I will tell you that I did not represent these buyers myself when they bought the house. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have had them up there in the first place. And just to recap this entire section, when you have a lien on your property, guess what? Title will not transfer your property into somebody else's name. Therefore, you cannot sell the house unless that lien gets paid in full or you get a transfer agreement from the lien holder saying, hey, person X is no longer paying it. Now person Y is, and we are good to go. Section number 4, solar panels are deal killers when it comes to real estate here in Colorado. I've seen it firsthand multiple times. I've got a beautiful listing right now. It's a VA assumable listed at $550,000. The payment's about $3,200 a month at 5.5%. So not the best rate, but it's a beautiful house listed. I'm sorry, I said 550. It's listed at $565,000. A house down the street went under contract at $621,000. And it's not that much better. It's got an extra bedroom, an extra bathroom, but it is not that much better when it comes to stats, square footage, how great the home or the condition is of the home. You know what's really hurting? The fact that my seller, again, did not represent her when she was a buyer, has $28,000 worth of solar panels. We have gotten so much traffic on the market, so many showings, and so much interest. And I should probably show screenshots here, but the feedback is love the house, love the location, don't love the fact that there's another $28,000 solar panel payment that needs to be assumed because there is not a whole lot of equity in the transaction right now, or the property for that matter. So the solar panels must be assumed. We are as low as we can go, the lowest that the seller can be before they have to start bringing money that they can't afford to bring to the closing table. And it's a deal killer. We have lost probably 4 or 5 offers because of the dang solar panels. And on that, the conversation is always the same. Hey, I see in the MLS that $28,000 of solar panels must be assumed. What happens next? Buyer backs out, buyer demands a payoff, which my seller simply can't do, or buyer wants concessions, which we are usually not in the position to do that in the first place if the solar panels must be assumed. And in some cases, it flat out kills the deals. And I will say not some, I will say most of the times, solar panels are a deal killer or deal breaker unless, with one exception, unless they're already paid off and they're getting them as part of the deal. Section number 5. All right, so we hit this a little bit, but solar loans don't transfer cleanly, to say it nicely. Here's the ugly truth, guys. They do not transfer easily. A lot of these solar loans, buyers don't want to assume them, first of all. Excuse me, I got an itchy throat here. Lenders don't always allow it, and now the seller is stuck. You pay it off or you lose the buyer, and that's not flexibility in my opinion. It's a trap. And in real estate, we want flexibility in all facets, in all fashions, in all ways we want flexibility for our sellers and our buyers. And solar panels are a freaking 100,000 pound acre, and you get dropped in the middle of the ocean. That's what I think. They're just a bad idea here in Colorado Springs. Section number 6. Now, this one is really tough to talk about. Again, I can't mention companies, but solar companies fail. I've been doing this for years, guys, and I have had many solar companies that were the best thing since sliced bread, and guess what? They went bankrupt, or they left town and they failed. They sold as many as they could. They hit all the neighborhoods they could, and now they're gone. Guess who's stuck with it? And this is something that nobody talks about. Some solar companies do go under, and it's a fact. One of the major players, I can't say their name, but sounds like Rosaic, has had serious financial issues. Now imagine your system is now tied to them. You're trying to sell it. Nobody knows how to transfer or service them. Now you've got a mess on your hands, and guess who gets to clean it up? Well, if you have a great realtor like myself or anybody on my team, we have a playbook for pretty much everything. Now, I will tell you that we have a situation right now where I do have a seller who has that company who has financed those solar panels. They were transferable. Guess what? They filed for bankruptcy months ago. Guess what isn't assumable now? I mentioned this earlier in the video. Those solar panels. So what are we doing? Now we have to do a short sale because my client cannot afford to pay off the $37,000 loan balance on those solar panels, plus pay all the closing costs to sell her home, and they don't have that much equity, and rates are back over 6%. So now, because of the solar panels, it is now a short sale for the property, or it didn't have to be before. But now that we have another $37,000 that we need to add to the debt, basically stacking it onto the mortgage, it's going to be a short sale. Which is going to bring me into my next section, section number 7. Solar can force a short sale. And this is where it gets really brutal, guys. Let's say you owe $400,000 on a property. You owe $30,000 on solar. The market says your home is worth $425,000. That would probably be your break-even point. $425,000, $430,000 would be very close to your break-even point. So now you can't sell, you can't move, and now you're stuck because guess what? You have the extra $30,000 worth of solar. This is a real scenario. This is not hypothetical. This happens all the time. And it goes back to my other section that I had talked about. 3 reasons, actually, why you should be getting solar panels. Number 1, you live in the home forever. You're never going to move. Number 2, you want to be so green you don't care about the cost benefit analysis, even though you're losing money. And number 3, you don't live in Colorado. you live in places like California with the rolling blackouts, or Texas with really high utility bills because of the intense heat. You have to have air conditioning units running all the time. But yeah, I think you guys get the gist. I don't want to beat that dead horse anymore. Let's move on to the next section. Section number 8. I feel like you guys already know this section if you've watched the video this far. Solar doesn't always add value. Everyone says solar increases value. Sometimes maybe, but not in Colorado Springs. Most buyers care about the purchase price of the home, the monthly payment, and the location. Not so much your solar panels, guys. I am sorry. You might have the nicest solar panels on the face of the earth. Nobody really cares. It just comes down to payment numbers. 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. In fact, a lot of the times my buyers will say, all right, sweet, there's solar panels paid off. What problems am I going to inherit now? And I say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you're getting $45,000 worth of solar panels, or $35,000, or whatever the number is. And that's great, but what happens when I need my roof replaced? Do I have to hire another company to go out and take these things off? Do I have to hire another company to store them? Do I have to hire that same company to get them put back on? It's just more minutia that you got to deal with, because unfortunately in Colorado Springs, we are doing roof replacements more often than not here. I would say that we replace roofs more in this state than we do in any other state, with the exception of Texas. Section number 9. All right, guys, my buyers are more educated. Most buyers are more educated. 5 years ago, solar sounded really exciting. Today, buyers are asking better questions because of videos like this. Who owns it? What's the balance? Is there a lien? And when those answers get complicated, they walk, because there's a lot of properties out there that don't have solar, but I would say 15% of the rooftops have solar in neighborhoods, unfortunately. And it's so funny when I'm driving through neighborhoods or by a neighborhood, I'll see like 3 or 4 houses in a row that have solar panels. I'm like, oh, buddy, the solar monster got that street. And the solar monster being a really good salesman. Now, section number 10, the one that you guys have all been waiting for, my advice. All right. I am not anti-solar. I've already mentioned it's a great technology. It serves its purposes in other states, just not in Colorado. If you're doing it for lifestyle reasons, go for it. But when it comes to a real estate move or a slam dunk financial move here in Colorado, this isn't it, guys. Do not do it. Even if there's a chance that you are not going to sell for 5 to 10 years, what solar looks like today is going to be a different picture 5 to 10 years from now. And it's going to be older technology. And it's not could, it's not if, it's when you go to sell. This is going to be a huge problem. Now, my final thoughts, there are so many issues with solar. My red banner of this thumbnail of the video on YouTube will probably be, do not get solar, or stay away from solar. Solar equals radioactive material. Get away from it, right? That's a little dramatic, but it's true. There is not one good dang thing that I can think of that solar does for my clients here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The ROI, meaning return on your investment, absolute 0 out of 10. The technology might be a 10 out of 10. The financial sense when it comes to dollars, 0 out of 10. Reason being, like we talked about, the monthly payment versus what you pay. I have had a client one time, guys, that had $66,000 worth of solar on his roof, and it was a pretty basic house. And I said, oh my gosh, how did you spend that much? Well, we got panels that are from a very large, renowned company, and they also make cars. Well, they got the entire roof littered with those panels. And then they went and got a really expensive power bank in the garage. Now, ask me how many times my power has gone out in 8 years of living here in Colorado Springs. Let me tell you, one time for about 30 seconds. And I can't even make that up, guys. This is not a lie. My power has not gone off in Colorado more than one time in 8 years. So the power bank issue, kind of not necessary, kind of a moot point. Don't need it. Now, I hope that I've answered any and all questions that you guys may have. Now, if you have any other questions, please send me a direct message. put it in the comments below. Give me a phone call. My phone number and my team. I mean, we're all over the internet. So give us a call. Shoot us a message on any of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. We're there. Or even go on our website, BeatonBrothersPropertyExperts.com. Fill out a quick message. We've got a messenger on there. Within milliseconds, I get a message on my phone, and I usually respond right away myself. If I don't get to it first, somebody else does, and we will absolutely get there. But I think that I covered everything on solar in the 10 sections that we went over. Just a quick recap. Bad financial investment, huge pain in the butt when it comes to real estate and transacting in any way, shape, or form. To get them on and off is another story. I mean, it can cost you $5,000 to get them taken off, stored, and then put back on while you need a replacement for your roof. There's a lot of issues, guys, and I would just stay away from them here in Colorado Springs. They are not good. Thank you so much for listening here with me on this video. I have so much to say about solar panels, but I think I covered most of it. Again, if I missed anything, shoot us a message. We'll be right here, and we will continue to keep putting out content for you guys and educating all of our buyers and sellers before the time comes to make decisions. We want to make you the most educated buyers and sellers that we can before you transact on a real estate transaction. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is Charles Beaton with Beaton Brothers Property Experts, located here in beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado.